start now with the little clip reel. Made special for y'all. Good morning, Ushicon. Hope you've had a good con so far. I'm Luster Candy.
And I'm Asher Rose.
We're Team Waifu.
Okay.
Yeah. I also were a little behind thanks to the panel before, but it was fun.
That's okay.
Yeah, it was informative.
Yes. So good morning. Hope y'all slept very well. I did somewhat, but I'm just really nervous because, yeah.
This is a passion project of ours.
Yes. But Asher Rose and
Luster Candy, we just introduced ourselves already.
But yeah, I was really nervous.
That's fun. I got you.
Yeah. And this is the Baddest Waifus you've never heard of.
It's a love song to pre-2000s Waifus, basically. You hear it okay?
Yeah. I was just making sure so we can hear. Everyone else can hear.
I think they can.
Okay. So, as Luster Candy said, this is about pre-2000s waifus. So
Yes, they deserve love too.
yeah. So I'm glad everyone came to see it. So
That's like the hour.
yeah. Oh, okay, you can.
All right.
So we do have honorable mentions
Okay.
that I could not fit into the panel itself because of time restraints.
So we forgot the speaker sitting.
No, I got it.
Oh, because there's something we're meeting to set up to go along with this. Also, do we need to change seats? Because it's different from your slides. Or did I get a prize? Alright.
No problem.
Yes. Bear with her, she's still waking up.
I'm trying my hardest, but it's fine.
Yes. So to set the mood, we'll throw in a little mood music in just a moment. seriously up.
Lena was my goal. Lena was my goal. Was goals before I even realized she was goals.
Oh. So montage for the waifus to pick quite their own due to time constraints.
I'd say you can light a candle if you want to.
Or just use the app so we don't sell sprinklers. Okay, I thought you were gonna do the kazoo version. I don't know.
No,
we don't have the recorder.
No, the recorder was perfect.
Okay, alright. I'm not questioning.
The recorder
I was just wondering.
But yeah, if this panel does do very well, I will add these ladies to the list, or just make a part 2.
Yes.
Again, so anyway, on to the next slide.
We start off with the
With the
influential waifu.
Yep. Princess Sapphire, which is, she is she's part of our Magical Girl panel, and I added her to this panel because, as Ushicon said, she's very influential.
Because without her, we would have people like Lady Oscar from Versailles, Uranus, or from Sailor Moon, and so on. But also her gender bending caused some controversy back in the day.
You know, because I mean, it's like, oh, that's a girl.
It's a girl that can turn into a boy. Yeah, that's unheard of. Because America's about apple pie and baseball and stuff. Yeah.
But with Sapphire in particular, since women can't rule over Silverland, she has to pretend to be a boy to essentially fight off.
But part of the reason she can do this is because a mischievous angel named Chappie. No, yeah, Tank. He has numerous names depending on the translation, but he decided to be funny to promote a boy's heart and a girl's heart to just a random infant. And God was like, no, that's not cool. You gotta fix that. So he goes to try to fix it, but Sapphire stops and is like, look, I kind of need to borrow this boy heart a little longer to save my kingdom, because some bad people are trying to take over.
Yeah. And in this next slide, I do have a clip of her fighting off one particular nasty dude. And for context, he challenges her to different trials.
What's the horse's name?
I forgot the horse's name.
How much does your mother hate you and name you after just a textile?
刺繍のお稽古などはこの綺麗な刺繍を早くやった方が勝ちで。
そんな女の子の真似なんかできるもんか。隊長、この間僕のところに殺しを起こしたのはお前だな。
いや存じませんな、そんなことを言って。
そうだった。
And that's what she has to deal with on a daily basis. All right, and we have another Magical Girl panel alumni, Cutie Honey. And I mean, show of hands of who hasn't heard of Cutie Honey or has heard Cutie Honey. Huh? I don't know. I'm having one of those mornings that everything is starting to come. Yeah, pretty much. But with Honey in particular, she is an android, and she's tasked with fighting the Panther Claw organization, who want the particular. I have to remember how to pronounce it. the Airborne Elements modifier. It has different names, but that's pretty much the only thing that I can think of at the moment.
And her nemesis sister Jill is also made by the same person that made Honey. And also has a lesbian crush on her.
I threw me for a loop, I'm sorry. Anyway, I do have a clip set up for Honey, as she is the first protagonist of a shonen series by the amazing Gundam. And I kind of like to do that with Honey, just, I don't know, one day.
Yeah,
So,
I don't see one.
yeah, so here's a clip of her like first transformation and everything in the 1973 series.
だってこのオンボロスクーターじゃいけない私操縦法知らなかったえだって
ネックレスのハートに手を当てろハニーフラッシュと叫べ
一体何のこと
いいから早く叫べ
いいわハニーフラッシュ私がなってたどうなっちゃってんのかなある時は花形レースまたある時はスチュアーですそしてモデル歌い手キャメラマンだがその実態は愛の戦士キューティーハニーさん
Alright. And the next one, let me talk about,
Another legendary mangaka.
yes, Lady Matsumoto's Queen of Maraudas, and I said it correctly this time.
Yay! You're calling it Esmeralda's.
Childish. Anyway, the story with Esmeralda's is that she is a very mysterious, very beautiful woman, as is all of Lady Matsumoto's ladies.
With those luscious lashes.
And tall bodies. She is a pirate queen, in that even her name puts the fear of God in grown men, and she's practically legendary. And so she pretty much wanders throughout the galaxy, or the known galaxy, with her ship, Queen Emeraldus, of the same name. So,
Yeah, she's appeared in various works of Lady Matsumoto's, including Galaxy Express 3-9.
I think that's the first time you see her in Galaxy Express.
Yeah.
So anyway, her history is really, it's almost tragic in a sense, but she's, I want to say she's doing her best, so, with the fate.
She's lived her best pirate life.
Pretty much. And it's
Like space pirate life.
yeah, a goal. And this clip that I have for y'all is of her pretty much being introduced in the 1998 OVA that came out.
Oh, damn it. We're not ready for the 80s yet.
Yeah, not yet. There we go.
We're getting there.
いい加減にしろこそ何ですか
卑怯そっちの坊やの方がよっぽど男らしいわ
せっかく勝ってたのにこれ一発や殴ってやったそれから3年以上一発や殴られたけど
何者だお前は
私はエメラルドです
エメラルダ
エメラルド逃げろ
たまには自分の力で戦ってみたらエルドメイン大佐あなた方が探しているのはこの私の船よドクロの紋章はすぐに消しなさいあれを掲げられるのは宇宙でただ2隻だけキャプテンハーリックのアルカディア号と私のクイーンエメラルダス号だけ覚えておきなさい忘れるとまた大穴が開くことになりますよ今度はあなたの体に
分かった
分かったら出て行きなさい
going into the 80s with the trio known as Cat's Eye. And they're a trio of art thieves, sisters, that are searching for their father's missing art pieces from Nazi regime, surprisingly. And since
That never good comes from Nazis.
no, well, he's missing, and some of his artworks have been sold to really just nasty pieces of work for people, like greedy individuals. So, with their skills combined, they stage art thefts and beat the heck out of
Their
everybody.
cover is a coffee shop with the same name, Cat's Eye. So it throws the detectives off too. It's like, your name's not helping, change your name. They're like, no, we're not gonna.
The coffee. It's technically coffee shop stays. Anyway, and here you have the three sisters in particular. Hitomi is the main one, pretty much doing the heist pretty much doing the heist.
Also getting some intel thanks to a certain detective she's been flirting and messing around with.
Yeah. She literally has him wrapped around her finger. But
He's none the wiser.
no. And you have her list of skills here. And they assume that it's one person doing the heist, so she's given the nickname Cat's Eye. And her older sister Ruri is literally the brains of the heist. And
The older, mature one.
yeah. And she's very gorgeous, as you can see. So she can pretty much do the same thing as Hitomi, but she's more covert about it. Then you have the baby.
She's still in school, so there's a lot of times they're like, tell her, no, you can't go on this heist, you need to study for this test. And she's like, oh, you guys are no fun, but sometimes she'll sneak in, just try to get some action.
And she's mainly the getaway driver, so she can pilot.
Is she the hacker too?
I believe so, but she I think she's more like sophisticated in like driving like planes, cars, trucks, whatever.
Yeah.
So, and anyway, here's a look into their heist, which is in like the first episode of the anime. Yeah, so he's having a hard time.
Yeah.
With our next slide, Claudia LaSalle from Super Dimension Fortress Macross. So
Why are you asked?
the reason why I added her is because she is one of the first positively
Portrayed.
depiction of a black female character. Like, she doesn't have the stereotypical like big lips or anything like
She's
that.
not quite a black ground character either.
Yeah.
Like she has an active role on the show. And the voice of reason of the show.
And her English dub voice actress and her Japanese dub voice actress, they both narrate the series.
And also the first interracial couple, it was because of her too.
Yeah,
Like
Roy Parker.
the best guy.
Yes, I agree.
First chocolate vanilla swirl.
She's mainly on the bridge of the Macross or the SDF-1 Macross, and she's essentially second in command to Lisa or Lisa Haynes, whichever.
If you watch Robotech, she might look familiar.
Yeah. And I do have a clip of her pretty much giving advice to Lisa. And if you recognize this episode, I apologize in advance.
くよくよしなさんな。5円の粉大したことなかったでしょ。私にも同じような経験があるわ。今回と知り合った頃、なんだかここがギューッとしちゃって、仕事中もあいつのことで頭がいっぱい。何をやっても上の空。ずいぶんポカをやったわ。あなたが人をロボットみたいな言い方しないでよ。そんな意味じゃいいのよ。どうなの？大家に自分の気持ち伝えたの？大家？年下なんて気にすることないわ。当たって砕けるよ。そうじゃないのよ。いいからいいから。とにかくくよくよしないこといいわね。
Evan was like, don't mind me.
It's like, I'm just walking in. Anyway, next slide is the Lovely Angels.
Okay, the dirty pair. It's what most people refer to them as because damage and destruction can come wherever they go.
Like just a trio.
So just they prefer to be called lovely angels. So
Yeah.
Just they're the only ones that call themselves that.
That's true. But anyway, they're part of the, they're trouble consultant agents, obviously. And they're part of the 3WA or the World Warfare Association, whichever.
And in real life, bisexual icons. Yep.
So, as Lester Maney said, most of their missions to catch fugitives often end in massive amounts of destruction to the point that they're given the name the Dirty Pair. But they're usually kind of, it's like a slap on the wrist, almost like, yeah, we see you trying, it's fine. It's like, are you sure about that, family? Half the time.
And sometimes they're hesitant on missions, like, do we really want to use them now?
Okay, and then here we have the two in question.
Case babe. You
Kay is the more aggressive of the two, in that she is more or less, I'm bringing the manpower, I'm bringing the guns. I will shoot first and ask questions later. Like, no cap. She also does have a bad habit of showing off her chest because apparently she gets mistaken for a man or sometimes.
She gets frustrated, just like, say I'm a woman.
And it's like, those are nice, thank you, ma'am. Anyway. And she more like, she kind of likes the more manly man, like man. Yuri, however, she's the more feminine, more sly and coy, but she has a little bit of a temper too if you cross her. She uses energy-based weaponry, like
high-tech,
more like high-tech gadgets.
Yeah, high-tech gadgets.
Mm-hmm. But like in the OVA, she uses like a ring and it backfires on her, but it ends up doing its job. So
just not how she intended it.
Yeah. She's also the more bottom heavy of the two, so she's got thick hips.
Yeah, to compensate Kay's bust. So
yeah. Now I didn't get a clip in time, but once I redo this panel, I'm sure I will. Next slide.
All right.
Okay. Okay, and I have this character here that's actually who I'm cosplaying today, Dude of Appleseed. One of Shiro Matsumine's works, and
yeah, because everyone's familiar with Ghost in the Shell.
yeah.
Familiar with Appleseed?
Yes.
Alright. Now, with Dunan, she is pretty much a badass in her own right. Her lover, Yarios, is usually her wingman, and her skill set is on par or just next level of genetically enhanced men or cybernetically enhanced colleagues. So, because of her upbringing with her dad, who was also in LAPD SWAT. She can pretty much use any sort of like weaponry. She's a very intelligent strategist, and she loves board games a lot. She kind of relishes in that fact too. But there's like her 3 iterations of her. So her design
There's like a later film that just wasn't that great though.
It was okay, but she is kind of hard-headed too. So, but that's part of the course. So. And I do have a clip from the 2004 movie with her showing off her skills.
Fun fact, this was almost going to be a part of the Cream Lemon Hentai series, but last minute they changed their minds and decided to make it a 4-video OVA.
Which turned out really well, so.
Most people are familiar with the first OVA because it was on the Sci-Fi Channel back in the 90s and early 2000s.
And with Eiko, she's a citizen of Baton City. And a little thing about Eiko is that she's very strong and she's very fast. It kind of doesn't, I wouldn't say it doesn't help, but her parents are essentially, I would say, XPs of Superman and Wonder Woman.
Yeah, just parodies of Superman and Wonder Woman.
Yeah. So she's got superhuman strength, she's got superhuman speed, as I said. And whenever she does tend to oversleep for school, she pretty much tears up the pavement while dragging Seiko behind her. And Seiko's her best friend.
That's why Seiko's hair is always a mess. Well, best friend, but Seiko also like has a crush on her because she's from an all-female alien race.
Yeah.
But of course, you know, Eiko's kind of oblivious because she's like, oh, what?
It's like, oh, you have a crush on me? Oh, that's funny.
And when, I think it was the second or third OVH, you know, Eiko's talking about, this summer I want to get a boyfriend. And Seiko's like,
It's like, no, we don't do
No.
that here. But if you do happen to be in Eiko's way, she's running to school, I really hope you have medical insurance. Because
Yeah.
she will run you over.
people get injured along the way.
Houses get destroyed, pavement gets destroyed too. So anyway, next slide.
Yeah, because right when she's fighting, people either compare her to either Batman or Tony Stark because she's very tech-based.
It's just a short clip of her fighting.
That's the way she's fighting.
Well, we've had a long clip, but I don't want to get time constraints. Anyway,
Yes.
next slide, we have the Puma sisters from the Vigilante Police. Which
Nobody
is
get familiar with those.
Which is,
Yes.
which is another Shira Matsune work. And I added the Puma sisters, or rather the Pumas as they're typically called, because they are, again, like majority of these ladies in the list are badasses in their own right. Anna and Umi, they used to be strippers at one point, but they were specifically created to be love dolls, basically. And they decided, well, we don't want to be love dolls anymore. We should steal. We should do crimes. So, crimes they did.
They can drive around tanks is better than like working a hole.
Yeah.
I'd say.
But anyway, they are real big into like suppressive fire, and they do bring massive weapons. You just don't know where their hiding is. But they do love each other a lot, although they do butt heads often and argue. But that's part of the course with these two. And I do have a clip of them actually showcasing their stripper skills.
Yeah, they like to be distracted from time to time.
See what I mean by that suppressive fire? They do not care. Anyway, next slide is the Night Sabers Bubblegum Crisis fame. Now, I guess who's heard of Bubblegum Crisis?
Or at least probably familiar with
Or at
2040.
least, yeah, familiar with 2040. So, anyway, the Night Sabers. Well, for those that haven't heard of the Night Sabers, there are four women team of mercenaries that are combating the Gundam Corporation and their little boomers, which are bio-android based weapons.
Okay,
sometimes. Yeah, okay. So in order to finance their activities, they usually take on odd jobs as being bodyguards or mostly bodyguards, but also different stuff.
Mover control, basically.
Yeah, basically. And here we have the first two, Celia Stingray. So Celia Stingray is the oldest member, and she's also the leader. She runs the Silky Doll lingerie shop, and she's a businesswoman by day, Night Saber by night. She also has the technical know-how to have built the hard suits in question for the other three ladies. And her younger brother, Maki, helps her out, even though he's a little bit of a dweeb, kind of. She's more kind of sort of the voice of reason, anyway. So we have Lena, who is a 22-year-old aerobics instructor, and she wanted to be a dancer, but it didn't work out too well.
She loves money.
Yeah, but her skills helped her on the battlefield. And here we have Chris and Nene.
Chris is like the most popular among the fans.
Yeah, she's on a lot of key art and everything. She's also the singer, or lead singer for her band, The Replicants, which is a Blade Runner reference. And then you have Nene, who is Nene is the youngest, and she's the hacker of the group. She's more so
She
the
gets
ball
intel
too.
Yeah.
She's like an operator. Now, with the time constraint that I have, I don't know if I can show the clip or not.
I think that was a lengthy clip, so
Yeah.
I have to skip that.
So
I'm trying to get out.
Yeah.
Just trying to get to the 90s.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and skip this clip in question because it is a little bit long. Anyway, here we have Noe Izumi of Mobile Police Patrol.
Yeah, I don't know if any of y'all went to our Rumiko Takahashi panel and mentioned Mamoru Oshii. Like, this was the project after he walked out of making the second Urusei movie. And he went with some other people and formed Headgear and produced this series.
but she really loves her labor Alphonse so much that she did name it after a former, or two pets, so a pet dog and a cat.
Yeah.
And maybe, or he'll have no fearing like the woman's labor being scratched up, because she takes pride in how he looks and cleans him darn near every day that she works. She's a big mega fan too.
Yeah.
So piloting a labor is her dream.
Yeah, she's very humble about her skills too. And she's always having to take the slack for this other person who acts impulsively and wrecks things. His name eludes me.
Like his costume.
No, that's not.
His name is escaping me too.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm. So he's like Leroy Jenkins, and she's like, damn, you're just gonna cool.
Yeah, she has to clean up after Leroy Jenkins a lot.
Yeah. Alright, the next slide is Christina MacKenzie of local Super Gundam No Way You Want a Pocket.
One of the first Christmas Gundam before Endless Waltz.
Yeah. So Christina, or Chris, she's she's a Earth Federation first lieutenant, and she is testing out the Gundam Alex to give to a certain somebody on White Base.
She's here because she's the first major female Gundam pilot.
Mm-hmm.
And especially to test out such a prototype for Amuro, who will later go to Amuro Ray.
Mm-hmm.
Prototype for the new Gundam.
Yeah, and her piloting skills is very impressive, even to someone that's she's not a new type.
No, she's not a new type.
So.
That's why she was having some struggle with it.
Yeah.
In the beginning.
So anyway, if you do get the chance to watch Corner Pocket, I do recommend it because it is really good. It will put you in your feelings with the last episode. So.
Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah. Alright, next slide is the Attack Mystification Police, or the AMP of Silent Mobius. And they are a special branch of the Tokyo Police that combat the Lucifer Hawk. They were created specifically for that reason. And they use a combination of advanced gadgetry, technology, and magic.
Cyberpunk universe with magic.
Pretty much. Yep. Alright, and then we have the ladies here. We have Riley, Mana, and Kitty. Riley is the leader of the AMP, and she's more or less, think of Celia of the Night Sabers. There's a little bit more to her than meets the eye. She's a lot more serious than she lets on.
Yeah, especially about her past.
Mm-hmm. Mana is her best friend, or her assistant and slash friend, confidant basically, and she's a pretty powerful sorceress. But she takes kindly to no nonsense at all.
That's why they usually don't invite her stuff.
Yeah.
Like if they do a secret, get together, she's like, how come I'm not invited?
Because you are a wet blanket, ma'am. Anyway, Kitty is a former police officer, but her body was extremely damaged in an attack that she almost died in. But with cybernetics and the technological know-how, she got an upgrade and she's okay, and she can punch through walls.
Yeah, she's the muscle of the group.
Literally the tank, so.
And she butts heads with the main character, Katsumi, a lot.
And then we have Labia, Yuki, and Nami. Labia is the pretty much the techno wizard, because she's a visionaire. Visionaires have cybernetic implants, so she can pretty much jack into any machine that she chooses and goes from there. And she does have a soft spot for machines. So.
Yuki is the psychic of the group.
Mm-hmm.
For a while, her background was hidden under legal red tape because she was experimented on as a child. It was a top secret project.
Yeah.
So that's where she gets her abilities from.
And she's kind of like the mascot of the group, but she usually deals with.
She's very cheery, keeps everyone spirits up. She also runs a coffee shop in her spare time.
Nami is the Shinto priestess of the group, so magic right there, or 1/3 of the magic of the group. Yeah. And she doesn't wear the stereotypical uniform. She just wears the priestess garb that she's wearing, or priest garb. Sorry. She's also a little bit of a clean freak, so she fights against a Lucifer Hawk that's incredibly juicy. She's like, oh no, I don't want it. I don't want it. Then we have the last two members to join, Katsumi and Mama Chain. Now,
The story centers around Katsumi.
Katsumi is the daughter of Gigoff Lakir, who was over a particular project that didn't end too well, and that's why the Lucifer Hawk are on Earth. So she joins the AMP and helps out with that. Lum is the last to join and the youngest, and she's pretty much a kind of a sort of rival to Katsumi, but not too much.
She wants her man, basically.
And they wield similar sword or similar weapons, but
Hers is like a nagi-nagi, or nagi-nagi, like a spear.
Yeah, it's like a spear, but it's not as intelligent as Katsumi's ghost warriors. All right, next slide is El Ragu from Shadow Skill. She is the youngest Seville as the 59th in the Kingdom of Corona. So she is essentially powerful in her own right, to the point that she can rip up her enemies with her bare hands with her Shadow Skill martial art. She has a bit of a reputation as a heavy drinker, and depending on if you decide to watch the 1998 anime, she does have a large debt that racks up because of her wanting to get in the brawls with just about everybody that's willing to
She's
fight.
supposed to fight.
Yeah, she's also hard-headed too. Next slide is Mink of Dragon Half.
This is more of a comedic anime.
Yeah. With Mink, she is a dragon half human, half dragon. So she really loves Dick Saucer, but
That's the name of the idol, Dick Saucer.
and he's a dragon slayer / pop star, and she's on a quest to find the people potion. So if she finds the people person,
She thinks Dick will like her better as like full human instead of a dragon.
yeah. And I do have a clip for that too, but since we're running short on time, we're gonna have to skip it. Yeah, enjoy that.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
And next
Maybe that
slide is Iria. Iria's on the animation, and she is a young bounty hunter who has a personal vendetta against Zeron. And she eventually gets her license to take on odd bounty hunting jobs. Her older brother, or adopted older brother, Glenn, taught her everything he knows about bounty hunting. She even wears the little traditional beads that he wears, but it's more so seen with men than women.
Just because she's not taken as seriously due to her gender.
Yeah. But with her skill set, she hopes that she can essentially kill Zera because reasons. Anyway, next slide is the Gunsmith Cats. And they're dual bounty hunters based in Chicago,
I'm
Illinois.
glad that Kickstarter worked out.
Yeah. So these two in particular, they deal with a lot of different stuff. Like from Vengeful Mars, Professional Assassins, and the like. So Raleigh is the owner of the gun shop, the Gunsmith Cats, and essentially gun shop owner by day, bounty hunter by night. Her real name is Irene, but she takes on the name Raleigh or Larry because no one wants to hire a female bounty hunter. And her knowledge of guns is legendary, and her marksmanship is just as great too. And she drives a really nice looking car that I want eventually, but we shall see. Her second in command is a Mayhawk who looks really young, and that's because she is.
It's a bit controversial in the manga. She was taking drugs to prevent her from going through further puberty to impress her older man lover. He was in his 30s.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah. And she's essentially a bomb expert from his knowledge that she learned from him. So anything, if you want to make it boom, she will make it boom. She also has a gift of pretty much, she has a gift for disguises, and she can actually mimic voices. The next slide is Naomi Armitage of the Armitage 3 film, or the one film if you're depending on it. Now with Armitage, she is a police officer on Mars, and she has a bit of an attitude problem, which is considerably understandable. So she takes on the case of the multiple multiple murders of thirds, which are androids that look very human. So, I don't know, because I think it's, do I want to say it? Or, probably not. Anyway.
Let's try to keep it spoiler free.
Yeah. But she has a personal reason into these murders. So,
Yes.
with her new partner Ross, she eventually finds out more of what she's part
Ross
of.
in the dub is voiced by Keith Sutherland.
Yep. And she's voiced by Elizabeth Berkley and
From Showgirls and Saved by the Bell fame.
and Juliette Lewis from Dusk Till Dawn and Natural Born Killers. And here we have the light of my life. Birdie Stefan Alter, or simply Birdie the Mighty, of Tetsuwan Birdie fame. She's a intergalactic space federation officer who is after, obviously, alien fugitives. So she accidentally kills Stomu in an attempt to get a particular fugitive, and so she has to share her body with his. So it's essentially a good look into the body switching trope of anime.
You're better off watching the classic version. The newer version doesn't really do it justice.
Yeah. It also, the manga also did get a rewrite too, so. And I did have a clip in question, but I'll save it for next time.
Yes.
And here we have the Imperial Assault Force, or simply the Flower Division of Sakura Wars.
They're here because, like, in America, we actually didn't get the games first. We got the anime.
So that's like a lot of people say like, oh yeah, I know that anime, or it's like, do you know the game? There's a game?
Yeah.
And with these particular ladies, they are part of a military group fighting supernatural forces against Tokyo.
The translation could either mean, floral assault troop or, theater troop.
Yeah.
So that's their disguise as their theater troop.
Yep, pretty much. So anyway, we have Sakura, Sumire, and Maria. Sakura is the newest member all the way from Rule Sendai. So it takes her a minute to pretty much get used to the metropolis. And then you have Sumire, who is high-ranking actress and also high-ranking in the military unit. She's very spoiled. You have Maria, who is the vice captain, and she's a veteran of the Russian Revolution.
Notice how all the girls have flower names.
Yeah. The next slide, it has these next three, Iris, Koran, and Kana. Iris is the youngest, and she has some psychic powers. And literal baby of the group.
Yeah. Koran is the event scientist, Mega Day of the group.
Yeah, she often gets Kogami to be her experiment. And Kana, who is the tallest of the group, at 6'6", she is the martial artist and can probably kill a bull with her bare hands if she wanted to.
That's my sister.
Yeah, and I added these two because they did show up in the second game, Orihime and Rini. I guess, do you want to talk about it?
No, let's speed it up.
All right.
So, yeah, got me.
So,
Yeah.
anyway, energy manipulation powers is Orihime's shtick, and she's very great, or she's a good dancer. Rini is androgynous, so she's more suited for male roles. So, and she's very good at close quarters
Talk
combat.
about that 90s androgynous trope thing that was prevalent in mid-late 90s anime.
Yeah. All right, and then our last lady of the slide, or the panel, is Jun or Devilman Lady. Another Go Nagai staple. Yeah, but I'm specifically talking about the anime, not the manga. With the anime, she's a supermodel instead of a teacher, and it's more or less, yeah, she has it a little bit rough in the anime as compared to the manga, but it's like right there along with each other.
The anime just wants you to hurt.
Yeah, it does. So Junro is, or not Junro, damn. June, she ends up getting attacked and ends up transforming into Devilman Lady. And with Devilman Lady, she's more loud and more aggressive than her human self that's really shy. So she takes it upon herself she's ordered to hunt down devil beasts and kill them. Yeah. Right? And this is where you can stalk us on social media, but we got one last thing for you guys before we call it. Just gotta pull it up. Yep. I don't know. Oh, yeah.
I thought you said that.
I thought I did too.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
sorry, we did have something, but we can just improvise. But if anyone has any questions or if they want to do any pre-2000s waifu dedications that we haven't mentioned, you know, show of hands.
Like any questions or any waifus you wanted to see? Yes.
So, have you had a chance to play any of the Sakura War games before?
I actually have not.
I only played like one of the puzzle games.
Yeah, I would really love to play it.
It's a puzzle game?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. There's quite a bit of Sakura War games in Japan. What's up, Zach?
Are you gonna buy any of the Sakura Wars model kits that are coming out?
Well, Mullen is crying right now just thinking about it.
Wait, this all is coming out?
Yes.
Yeah. Any other questions at all?
Yes.
Okay,
Everyone knows where she is.
first of all,
I need you to stop now.
Anybody else? Yes.
So, personally, who would you say is your favorite waifu?
oh, you're asking like,
Well, we're talking about let's see. That's a tough one. I'd say Katsumi.
yeah.
For me.
And Birdie the Night, Birdie is actually one of my favorites because I was just getting into anime. When I saw her, I'm like, that's it. This is the one. This is her. I love her.
But with Katsumi, I read the Silent Mobius manga first before I watched the OVA movies and then the anime.
And I think Kitty's right there alongside Birdie too. So.
Yeah, literally like avoid eating lunch to save money to buy manga. It's not a good thing, but at the same time, it was worth it in the end.
Yeah. Any other questions at all before we wrap things up for real? No?
Before we get kicked out.
Yeah.
All right, well, thank you guys for having us.
Yes. Thank y'all so much for having us.